Hi, everybody. Now we have a little micro interview with Patrick Bozek, co-founder and CEO of Jorsik, makers of easyDITA, platinum sponsors of the OmnichannelX 2020 conference. So Patrick is a specialist in knowledge and content management. So got 3 quick questions for him that we're going to cover in 5 minutes. So question number 1, Patrick. Knowledge management hit a sort of peak buzz about 15 years ago and then fizzled out with a bunch of Six Sigma consultants and very expensive, disappointing projects that spent a huge amount of money on elaborate solutions that nobody engaged with. My question is, why get excited about it now? So we've been burned already. How do we know that this time something is really going to happen in the knowledge management space?
Hey Nas, that's a great question. I think there's a lot of reasons to get excited about knowledge management again. But looking back, the first wave of knowledge management was largely building islands. They were these places that people went to acquire knowledge. And I think we know now that this isn't really how people function. People don't pick a destination to go and get their knowledge. Knowledge has to meet people where they are. And so I guess as I'm saying this, I'm realizing the reason to get excited about knowledge management and knowledge experience again today is largely omni-channel publishing and a better understanding of the systems and processes that enable that. So I think when we're looking at what KM is starting to appear like in today's world as opposed to where it was 15 years ago, I think it's more around not just managing and organizing knowledge. It's not just like how we capture some articles and put them into a structure. I think it's really more around understanding the total thought of the capture and delivery aspect paired with the management aspect. So I think it's having the whole thing put together. And I think that today knowledge is becoming understood as a broad and pervasive part of the entire customer experience and journey. And now that we're in an age where customer experience and customer journey is much more actively thought about, I think it's time that we start to get excited about how knowledge plays into that journey. And I guess for me at least, it seems so obvious once you say it out loud. Like, of course, knowledge is a major part of the journey. This is one of the things we want to do most successfully with our customers and our employees, is the process of making them smarter and making them better at the things that we do. But it really isn't how we've treated it for the last 15 years. So having this new perspective and having the systems that enable it, I think that is something to really get excited about again.
Great, thank you. Very interesting. I appreciate that. So, Patrick, question number 2 is, what technologies do we have today that make knowledge management more feasible than it was in the past?
Yeah, so technologies is a great question. Why are we in a different place from a technology perspective on knowledge management? And I think there's a bunch of things here. So I'm going to start by giving my super nerdy technical answer. And I would say REST APIs, better open standards, and microservices. And I know that seems like a really random answer, but what I'm really saying is that in a lot of ways we understand the plumbing better. So I think we have a lot of the knowledge of how to move knowledge between things in a more agile way. And it's these new connecting services like REST APIs and the interchange provided by open standards, and then the ability to leverage both of these things with smaller applications, microservices, to push knowledge between places where it's managed, stored, created, authored, and used. And I think that really is a fundamental shift, and something that we're seeing across the IT organization. People are being reorganized around this new methodology, which is about connecting systems rather than maintaining systems. And this is really fundamental and important for knowledge too. So instead of thinking of knowledge as just being like a wiki, that's the technology that enables knowledge management, knowledge distribution. Today we look at knowledge as being part of the entire content stack and ecosystem, and I think that technology change is significant.
Okay, great. So my final question is, what is the relationship between content management and knowledge management? Are we working in the same platform? Can we use the same people? Or are there different specialisms involved? How do we know when we are doing knowledge management effectively versus content management?
All right, so knowledge management and content, great question. So I mean, I guess I would just start by saying knowledge is content. So any strong knowledge platform is going to have a strong CMS under the hood, and I don't think it's really, I don't think there's any way around that. So, but I wouldn't really look at it as a simple function of should your CMS be your knowledge platform, or vice versa. I think that when we're looking at how we incorporate software and tools today, I don't think it's based around a single platform. I don't think there's a question of like which platform, how many platforms. Every organization is going to have a different set of requirements at different times even. And I think this is one of the major differences between knowledge management today and where it was 15 years ago when it didn't really work out the way that we wanted it to. You can't think of your knowledge strategy as being based around a single tool or platform. There can be primary components, and there will be primary components. But the total knowledge strategy needs to incorporate the idea that tools will constantly be changing and shifting, and they'll be rearranging as needs change, I think, in a lot of cases. So this means that we need a well-defined and documented set of strategies for the entire knowledge function that incorporates our tools but aren't entirely based on them. We need to know how we, not our tools, build, maintain, and deliver knowledge. So when you're thinking about, what knowledge platform should I use, yeah, it's got to have a CMS underneath the hood, but I don't think that, the question of like, should it be your CMS really plays into it, because it's just part of your stack, and your stack is going to have a number of things all connected that come together to form your knowledge management function. And then, as far as people are concerned, I think the same people are involved. But I think they're organized really differently, and we've seen this pretty consistently, as we've been working in this market. And I think in the past, the way of doing things was largely that you organize teams around tools, or maybe you organize teams and then bought tools that were designed to be sold to those teams. I'm not sure if which is the chicken and the egg. You look at the learning team. The learning team was largely organized around an LMS, or maybe they were designed around more specific courseware materials like PowerPoint, things like that. The Tech Pubs team, organized around help authoring tools or some kind of component content management system, whatever it was that they needed to produce the manuals or reference materials. And then web teams and often IT organizations or whatever knowledge function that they had, they were assembled around wikis. A lot of wikis are applications are dressed up. They're very dressed up versions of wikis, but they're still largely wikis, or document-centric ECMs. And I think going forward, this is not going to be something where you have a team that's based around a tool anymore. I think everybody is working on knowledge, and the place that it's actually used is a consequence of the current delivery strategy, which again, as I was just saying, will change, not based on the organization that is creating and maintaining the actual tool structure. All right. I hope those are interesting and fun answers. Thanks, Nas.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Patrick. I hope everyone enjoyed that.